mark finish line here. We'll be doing that once we're out on the track. I'll remind everybody when specifically to be doing that. So like we mentioned in the classroom, this is a track discovery session. First time you guys have seen the track here. So this session is all about learning and assimilating the track. So these first couple laps that we do are going to be definitely on the slow side here. It's just going to be, again, just kind of get our bearings on where all these reference cones are, where we want to place the cars. I'm going to be talking everybody through this as we go out there. And we'll also take turns every single lap rotating directly behind the instructor car. And then for part 2 of the session, I'm going to pace off of you guys. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll talk a little bit more in detail about that later on. Like I said, the big idea with this session is, again, just kind of walk away with it having some good knowledge on where we want to place the car and where we need to be out there on the track. So don't worry about trying to go out there and set the world on fire your first couple laps or anything like that. It's much better to be a little bit more on the conservative side and learn more about the track than being super aggressive and missing all our marks. We're just going to get a little space from the group in front of us here so that we have our own track room. And then as far as transmission is concerned, guys, we're just going to leave the car in manual mode the entire time. And we're going to run the car in 4th gear the whole time. So we're not going to worry about shift points yet. That will come tomorrow. So just make sure we're in manual mode, just leaving it in 4th gear. Anyway, let's go ahead and roll out onto the track and just make sure as we enter the course that we stay to the right of this dotted white line right here. Just a safety protocol thing that we have around here. Again, we'll work our way up into 4th gear. Alright, so the big idea when we're out here on a racetrack is we're just trying to make these corners as wide as we possibly can. The reason is, the wider you can make the corner, the straighter the corner becomes for you, and therefore the more speed we can carry throughout that corner. So we do this a little bit differently in certain corners, but you're going to find we have these reference cones that always give you a good idea of where we need that car to be placed for the corner. So at the inside edge of every corner at some point, you're going to see a big orange cone with a green sleeve on it. That is called an apex cone. So the apex, that is where we want the car to be closest to the inside edge of the track. So very simply put, when you see that apex cone, you want to get close to it. You want to get all the way down to that white and red curbing that you'll see next to it. And you're also going to see a medium-sized orange cone at the beginning of many of these corners on the outside edge. That is called a turn-in cone. So as the name would suggest, the turn-in cone is where you want to start turning the car into the corner, right about as the nose of the car gets to that turn-in cone. So right as the front of the car gets there, that's when you want to start adding your steering in. Now in some sections of the track, like this one we're in right now, this is the chicane that leads into what we call turn 4. It's pretty technical, it's almost a little complicated through here, so this is where really paying attention and noticing these reference cones really helps you out as a driver, because as long as you're looking ahead for them, then you know where you need that car to be placed for the corner, especially these first few laps when we're still trying to get the hang of it. Next corner is called turn 5. There's 2 parts to it, 5A and 5B. You're actually going to notice there's 2 apex cones right here on the curb, so we just want to kind of ride that curb and then let the car come out wide on the outside edge here to the turning cone before we bring it back into our apex. And And that gives us a nice straight exit out of the corner. That's really what we're trying to do essentially throughout each of these corners, especially tighter corners, is just come out of it with a straight exit. That means the steering wheel is straighter, and that means we can accelerate more. This is turn 6 that we're entering right here, guys. Notice it's not a very tight corner, so we don't turn in quite so late. But turn 7 is very important because this is right before the longest straightaway that we have. Just want to make sure you're out wide, all the way out by that turning cone before you bring it to the apex. That helps you out as we come through the exit of the corner. So anyway, we're going to do our first rotation, guys. So Peter, I'm going to have you off to the right side of the track, and then Andy, I want you to drive it up to me. Peter, you're going to wait for a silver number 122 to pass you. Once that silver 122 comes by, you can go ahead and get back into line. That's how rotations work, guys. Pretty straightforward. And like we said before, the instructors will always be calling out those rotations. All right, Andy, so your turn to see the track from a little bit of a closer perspective here. This is turn 8, right after the straightaway. Notice how I'm in the middle of the track here, but I keep looking to the right because I'm looking for my apex cone. I want to be close to that, and then there's a turn-in cone right after that. That's where we want to add our steering back in, get a little piece of that curb. And then this is turn 10. You just want to run right over that curb, kind of straddle it there, getting close to your apex cone, and that will lead you onto our main straightaway. Now, everybody that's got the PDR system right here, let's hit mark finish line right on this front straightaway. You should see a little ghost screen that will come up that says finish line has been marked. So that'll go away eventually. You just want to make sure you get that finish line marked on the front straightaway. You only have to do that once the entire program, and that point will save to the SD card itself. Anyway, with that out of the way, we'll shift our focus back to the track. This is turn 1 coming into turn 2. Now, you guys might have noticed some of these corners have a white cone with a pink sleeve on it. That is called a near apex cone. So it's very similar to an apex in how we want to take it. However, the difference is we only need to be within about 3 to 4 feet of it. We don't need to be right next to it like we do with an actual apex cone. Now, some of you might also notice this fluorescent green cone coming up on our left. That's actually a braking cone here. It's for turn 3. When we get up to speed here, this corner is a little scary almost because it's kind of blind. You don't really see it. So we put that braking marker there just to give everybody a heads up that we want to start going to the brakes there. So just take a mental note of that for later on. This will carry us into the chicane. So we get our left side right over that first curve, right where that little dip is. Notice that near apex, we're staying a few feet off of that. Then we bring it all the way down to our apex. That leads into turn 4, middle of the track at first, and then add a little bit of steering to bring it in all the way to the inside edge. And then we can let the car come out nice and wide on the exit. Start working our way back over to the left. This sets us up for turn 5A. Again, we've got that turn-in cone, so that's where we're adding our steering in, getting our right sides up on the curve here, Andy, and then letting the car come back out to the turn-in cone. And then right at that turn cone, just add a little steering to get a piece of that curve there in 5B. There you go, that was pretty good. Now, as far as the red and white curbs are concerned here, guys, here's the rules with that. The apex curbing, that is the curbing right next to the apex cone, we can use up. We can run that over. In fact, I want you to. However, the curbs that you see on the entry and the exit of every corner, those are off limits. We do want to stay off of those. There is one exception to that. It's the exit curb coming out of 5B, which I'll talk about more in detail a little bit later. We can use that. However, you're going to notice I generally avoid all these entry and exit curbs except for the apex curbing. So just keep that in mind. Andy, let me have you off to the right side of the track. And Ron, you'll drive it up behind me. Andy, you're waiting for a red at number 49 to pass you. And also these signs with numbers on them that say 3, 2, 1, these are braking markers. This is something we'll also talk about a little bit more once we get up to speed here. Right now, obviously we don't really need to brake, but once we get up to speed, we'll talk a little bit more about where specifically we want to get to the brakes. So this is turn 8 coming into turn 9 here, Ron. So again, be out by this turn-in cone. Then we'll bring it in down to our apex, try to get all the way to it. There you go. And then just use cruise up this curve here in turn 10, run right over. And we've got all this room here on the exit of the corner. So that will lead us back into turn 1. So again, at that turning cone, we'll start gently turning the wheel in. And then you'll see that near apex cone that you want to be relatively close to. And then here, just try to let the car come out towards the middle of the track. With turns 1 and 2, we want to hang out here in the middle. And then right at the apex here, that's when we're going to bring it back to the inside of the corner. That gives us a better angle through it. It gives us a better exit out of these corners. And really, it's the same thing through turn 2. Turn 2 is essentially a mirror image of turn 1. So you just want to do essentially the same technique here. Keep it out wide, and then we'll bring it right back into the apex here at the end. And we can let the car come out wide on the exit, using up that space given to us. And you can see what I mean here, how this next corner, turn 3, is a little bit blind. So just take note of that braking marker. And just be patient here with your turn-in. We want to try to not get to the inside of the corner until the apex cone. And that will give you a straighter exit out of the corner. By the way, that applies to every corner. Try to not get to the inside curbing until the apex. That way the car is pointed a lot straighter off the corner when you're at the apex cone. And that means it's going to be easier to get back to the gas a little bit more effectively coming out of the corner. Probably noticed as well that pretty much in all these corners, I'm always letting the car come out wide to the outside edge of the corner on the exit. That is because I'm trying to maintain the least amount of steering input possible on corner exit. That makes it a lot easier for me to accelerate and put the horsepower down. The tighter we hold the corner, the more steering input we must have, and that's detrimental to accelerating. So we always want to try to get that steering wheel as straight as we can on corner exit. So just get in the habit of using up all the space given to you. Alright guys, so what we're going to do, we're going to do one more rotation here, and then we're just going to exit the track very briefly and talk about what we'll be doing next. So Ron, I'll have you off to the right side of the track. We'll cycle back around to Peter. And Ron, you're waiting on a white number 123 here. And like I said, gentlemen, we're just going to quickly exit, so let's turn on our right side indicators. We'll just stay in formation here. This is the track exit right here. Now, when you come through the track exit, you're going to be presented with two options. If you stay to the far right, that takes you back over to the classroom area, back over to the paddock. If you merge out to the left here, this is your actual pit lane. So if there's ever an instance tomorrow, or even today for that matter, where we need to make a quick stop in the pit lane, this is where we generally do it. So just as a little heads up on that. Okay, so now for part 2 of the session, I am no longer going to be setting the pace for you guys. I'm going to pace off of you. All right, so if we're feeling a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident here, by all means, let's start to increase the speed a little bit. I'll maintain that 5-6 car length gap here. If you close in that distance, I'll open that gap back up, and vice versa. So now, a couple things that are very important to consider with this part of the session. Number one, do not try to overdrive the car and start missing your marks. I would much, much, much rather see you be a little bit more conservative out there on the track and getting to our apex cones, being smooth, using your vision effectively, than go out there and try to set a lap record and do it while missing all our reference points out there. You're going to find if you focus on the proper technique, the speed is actually an automatic byproduct of that, because that proper technique is really going to help expand the limits of the car and make it easier to drive faster. So just keep that in mind. Number two, one thing that pretty much always happens in this part of the session is the group can get really spaced out. So if that happens to you, do not feel any pressure whatsoever to keep up with the car in front of you. We're going to be gathering up the group every single lap, and we're also going to be rotating every single lap, just like we were there. So drive at your own pace. Generally, whoever is behind the lead car directly, the instructor car, has a pretty significant advantage because, you know, they can see where we're going to the brakes specifically. They got that little carrot in front of them per se. It's a lot easier for them to see where we want to place the car. However, even when you're not behind the instructor car, really still try to use your eyes, kind of seek out the corners and the turning cones and the apex cones, and that will help you be more consistent with the line. We also don't want to be at a point where we're relying on that instructor car in front of us to figure out where we want to go. So this is why getting our vision past that car in front of you is so important. Just going to let these guys to the right of us get going here and get a little bit of space. And we'll go ahead and get to it. So we'll just kind of gradually build up our speed. Again, just focus on the technique, and the speed is a byproduct of that. And we're still going to be maintaining fourth gear as well, so we're not going to worry about shifting. We'll be using those shift points tomorrow. Anyway, let's go ahead and get rolling here, guys. And we're just going to stay directly to the right of this dotted white line, just like last time. And working our way back up into fourth gear. So again, we'll just hang out here in the middle of the track, looking to the right here, Peter. We'll bring it back into our apex. Can unwind the wheel and we'll enter turn 2 on the left side. So once more, we're going to be down by that near apex cone. And then just let the momentum of the car take you out to the middle and just kind of hold it there. You can actually get to the throttle just a little bit to keep up your speed, but make sure you bring it in back to this apex so that you give yourself a good exit out of the corner. And we'll start working our way back over to the left. We're going to point the car at the turning cone, go into the brake at that green cone, maintain the light brake in, looking to the right. And like I talked about, try to not get to the inside of the curb until the apex cone. You did a pretty good job of that right there, Peter, so that looks good. Keep accelerating up to the chicane, and then we'll use a little bit of brake here right as you land from that bump. Middle of the track as we're working our way into 4. Make sure you look to the left to find your apex. And let the car come out nice and wide on the exit here. We'll start working our way back over to the left, setting up for 5A. At that turning cone, add our steering in, right side up on the curb, letting the car come out wide here, and then just a little bit of light brake to help the car turn back into 5B. There you go. Now this exit curbing right where I'm at, Peter, we can use that up a little bit. Don't be afraid to get those left sides on it right there. Keep accelerating through the kink. We'll start ourselves up for turn 6 out here by this turning cone. And we'll bring it back into our apex, staying on the left side here as we're approaching turn 7. Just be patient through here. Make sure we get all the way into our apex. That'll give us a good exit out of the corner. That looks pretty good right there, Peter. Nicely done. Let's have you off to the right side. Andy, you'll be behind me this time. Ron, you're staying behind that white 123. And Peter, you're waiting on a silver 122. Alright, so that takes us into turn 8. Notice there's a turning cone here, and also notice that there's a near apex. So we want to be close to that. Yep, there you go, Andy. And then let the car come out a little wide here. You see where I'm at? Kind of in the middle. But then we want to bring it in back to the apex, because this will give us a straight setup here for turn 9. And get it down to the curb. There you go. And let's just run over this curb right here in turn 10. Just straddle that thing, run it right over. Just start to accelerate here. And then we keep accelerating up to about the 1 marker here. That's where we're going to start going to the brake. And just a light brake to help the car turn in down to the near apex. There you go. Now right there, Andy, just apply a little bit of throttle, 10% throttle or so. Just kind of keep up your speed through the corner. And then we're going to bring it back into this apex. There you go. Now left side here as we enter turn 2. Because we're just going to mirror image turn 1. Good. Keep it right there in the middle of the track, and we'll bring it back into this apex here, Andy. Don't let it get too wide, because otherwise you really set yourself up for quite a workload to bring it back to your apex. So you want to be within striking distance of that apex cone. Be patient here on the turn-in. Try to avoid the red and white curb until the apex cone. Then we'll get a piece of it. There you go. That looks pretty good. Let's accelerate now. Working our way back to the right. We're going to run over this chicane and a little bit of light brake as we do that. Middle of the track coming into 4 right here. Shifting our vision back to the left. We'll get it down to our apex curb. Good. We'll let the car come out wide on the exit. And we'll start working our way to the left side. On the brakes here, nice and smooth. Looking to the right now. Get those right sides up on the curb. Kind of ride the curb between the 2 apex cones and let it come back out to this turning cone. We'll add our steering back in. There you go. Not too bad there, Andy. It's just maybe a little bit early on the turn-in. So just for next time, Andy, just make sure we're waiting until we get to that turning cone before we add our steering in. And that applies for any corner. Right as the nose of the car gets to the turning cone, not before, not after, right as the nose of the car gets there, that's when we want to start turning into the corner. Same thing there. I think we might have just dived for the inside just a little bit early there, Andy, for turn 7. So keep that in mind. Anyway, let's have you off to the right side here. And then Ron, you'll be up behind me. All right, Andy, you're waiting on a red 49 here. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get back to it. So middle of the track, looking over here to the right. Keeping it out here to the right. Look at the left. Let's get those left sides. Just touch that curb. There you go. Same thing here as for turn 10. Get a big piece of that curb in 10. There you go. Good. So we can start to accelerate. Maybe just a little bit early on the turn-in right there in 10 there, Ron. So make sure that, like I was telling the others, that we're waiting until the turning cone to add our steering. And the other important part with that, too, is once you do get to that turning cone, turn it. I mean, turn it as much as you need to get the car to the apex. There is absolutely nothing wrong with adding a little bit of steering in those scenarios. Alright, middle of the track here. Maintain a little bit of throttle in the left. And we'll bring it back into this apex. Left side's all the way down to the curb. And kind of like that. We could get a little bit closer to that apex though, Ron. Just a few feet off of it right there. Go to the brake at that fluorescent green cone. Straight line braking here. Looking to the right. Keep it out wide here and then bring it into your apex right at the end. There you go. That was a really good line there, Ron. But like I was saying earlier, try to actually get all the way down to the red and white apex curbing. You should feel a little rumble on your inside tires, and that will really let you know that you're actually using up those curbs. It might not seem like a big deal, but really it is, because if you just gain another foot by doing that, it really multiplies itself because you're also expanding the track by that same foot now, and it really helps us carry more speed. Again, kind of ride the curb there at the 2 apex cones, let it come out towards your turning cone, then we can add a little bit of steering to bring it back in. There you go, not too bad. And then like I talked about, we can use a little of this exit curbing, keep accelerating down the hill as we set up for turn 6. Using some light brakes as we're working our way to turn 6 here. And we're just going to stay to the left, point the car at the turning cone, being patient, and then make sure once we're at the turning cone, add our steering all the way into the inside. There we go, it's pretty good right there, Ron. Let's have you off to the right side. Peter, you'll be behind me again. And Ron, you're waiting on a white number 123. Alright, back to it here, Peter. And just for especially tomorrow when we come in here with speed, the 3 marker is generally where we go to the brake here for turn 8. Turn 8, we can actually carry a decent amount of speed through here. We just got to make sure our line is good. We'll bring it into our apex, shifting our vision left. And one thing, Peter, that hopefully you're noticing is that my brake lights are on even as I initially turn into the corner. That was really good there in turn 10, by the way. But what that's doing is it's keeping a little bit of weight on the front tires. Notice this. See how my brake lights are on? Now I'm going to lift off of it. So I'm not really slowing the car down. I'm just using a little bit of light brake to keep some weight on the front tires. you're going to find that really exponentially helps the car turn. I'm going to do the same thing here. Check it out. Little light brake in. There you go. Then let's squeeze into the gas here. Keep the car out in the middle. We're going to look over here to the left, and we can bring it back to this apex. And we can start to accelerate. There you go. Good. I like how tight you were to the apex. That was good. All right, now we're going to go to the brake pretty firm here, Peter. And then we're just going to use it lightly as we turn in. That way it can rotate all the way to the apex, and then we can accelerate. We can reward ourselves out of the corner. There we go. Let's keep going up the chicane. Again, a little bit of light brake here. Middle of the track, coming into 4. Shifting our vision left. Getting it down to our apex. There you go. Good. Now we can accelerate. And right there, Peter, that extra steering input that you added past the apex was unnecessary. You just let the car come out to the exit from there. And when we're trying to accelerate, that helps us. Just remember, at the turning cone here, add a little bit of steering. Get it back down to your apex curbing. Good. Well, we see how you're kind of on the wrong side of the track there, Peter. You turned the wheel so much right there that you exited on the completely wrong side. So just try to make it flow a little bit better through it, just like you're doing everywhere else. There's absolutely no reason to add steering input past the apex. If we're doing that, then we can't accelerate. So just get to your apex, focus on that, but then once you're there, let the car come out wide. Yeah, like that, that's better. So just do that everywhere, and then it makes the corners flow a little better. Let's have you off to the right side, Peter. All right, Andy, you're up behind me once more. And Peter, you're waiting on a silver 122. All right, let's kind of keep the speed up here, guys, as we're working our way up into turning. Down to our near apex here, Andy. And just try to make this flow. Looking over here to the right. We'll bring it in down to our apex. Staying right out by this turning cone. Notice, like I was telling Peter here, using my light brakes as I turn into the corner. Open the car, turn in, then we can start to accelerate. There you go, that's pretty good. Keep accelerating up to the 1 marker, then we'll go to the brake. Not hard, just smoothly. And to the near apex cone. There you go. A little bit of throttle right there. Just kind of keep it out in the middle. And we can bring it back in down to this apex and straighten the wheel after the apex. There you go. Left side is enter turn 2. There you go. Really good line there, Andy. Again, a little bit of throttle here. Kind of keep the speed up in the middle of the corner. And then focus on this apex here. But once you know your point there, let's move our vision forward. And we just missed that apex by a little bit there, Andy. We just want to get a little bit closer to that for next time. When the car at the turning cone, gonna be patient on our turn in. Look to the right. There you go, all the way into the inside. Good. That's very good. Accelerate out of it. And nice job using up the track on the exit as well. We go to the brake right as we land here. Right side's up on the curb, middle of the track as we work our way into 4. Now progressively add your steering. Get it down there. Get it down there. Yeah, okay, so a couple things happen there, Andy. One thing, we entered turn 4 closer to the inside, so you early apex the corner, and that made the corner a lot tighter than it needed to be. And you were late in recognizing that, so by the time we got to the apex, it was too late. So that's, again, why being proactive with where we're placing the car is really important. There you go. That looked good. That whole section right there looked a lot better. Let's accelerate all the way through turn 6. And out here to the right. A little bit of brake into it. There you go. Right into your apex. Remember, staying to the left here out by this turning cone for 7. Work our way into our apex here, and we can get that straight exit out of the corner. There you go. Looking good there, Andy. Those last few corners were solid. Let's have you off to the right side once more. And Ron, you can keep your speed up behind me. Andy, you're waiting on a red number 49. And Peter, if you could just give me another car length or so between you and that silver Corvette in front of you, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, left side here, Ron, and then we'll add our steering in. And up on that curb, we'll start to accelerate. Here we go. Keep accelerating up to the 1 marker. smooth braking here as we're coming into one. There you go. Good. All right, down to the near apex. Let's go to the gas. Just like 10% here, Ron. Gotta keep that speed up through the center of the corner. Then we can look over here to the right. Back to our apex. Entering the left side here as we come into turn 2. All right, good. Maintain a little bit of throttle here. Keep looking over here to the left. Just a little bit early on the turn in there, Ron. Just a touch early. So all we got to do there is just keep it out a little bit wider, and then it'll give you a straighter exit. You're still making the corner, so that's fine. That's just, that's a way that you could make it even better. And again, get the car pointing a little bit straighter at the apex. There you go. I like that effort. Turn 4 right there. Now, notice how I'm kind of using the track up here. Then we'll start working our way to the left. That's good right there. All right, right side's up on the curb here for 5A, Ron. Go, let the car come out towards that turn-in cone, and then once you get there, add a little bit of steering in. Good, really good. By the way, Peter, since you were right behind him, you notice how he just made that corner flow, and I saw, Peter, that looks a lot better from you as well. So that's what we're trying to do right there in 5B. Bringing it down to the left side, out by the turn-in cone here. And then, guys, this time by on the straightaway, we are not going to make a rotation. Let's keep our speed up. Everybody accelerate with me down the straightaway, and we're going to practice entering turn 8 at speed. So let's keep going down to the 3 marker here. That's where we're going to start transitioning to the brake. And then just maintain a little bit of light brake balance as we turn. Middle of the track here. Keep looking over here to the right. And we're going to stay to the right side as we're entering 9, shifting our vision left. There you go. Good car placement through there, Ron. Looking really good. And Ron, right there, just turn that wheel a little bit more. The only problem that we're facing right there is we're a little bit wide out of the corner because we're just not quite turning the wheel enough at the apex. So sometimes it's really as simple as that. Just turning the wheel a little more helps out with that. All right, guys, what we're going to do is start a cool-down lap here. So everybody maintain 4th gear. We're just going to cruise around the track at a slower pace here. Going to get a little bit of air through everything, and then we'll be exiting the track this time by. Everyone's looking really good here. I promise I'm not just saying that. Seriously, all 3 of you have got a pretty good grasp on what we're doing here, carrying good momentum through the corner and being consistent with it. And that's good. That's what I like to see. So just a few little housekeeping things to think about tonight and to apply for tomorrow. Number 1, the closer you can get to the apex, the more room you have on corner exit. A lot of you guys, all 3 of you are close to it, but in many cases, we're not necessarily on it. All right, I want everyone to pay attention to my lead car right here as I'm working my way through turn 4. You're going to notice I'm actually on the curb here at the apex. Now I'm staying off of it first, and then right as I get to the apex, boom, I'm right on it. And that, it's only, 6 to 12 inches. It's not a lot, but you're going to notice it makes a humongous difference in how much room, or at least how much room it feels like we have out of the corner. And really it allows us to carry more speed out of the corner. So I just want everybody to get in the habit of doing that. Use up every inch given to you at the apex cone. Try to run over that curve. Now, I don't necessarily mean, get so close to the point where you think you're going to end up, dropping inside tires in the dirt. That'd be the other extreme. But definitely make sure we get close enough to the point where you're confident that you're not giving up any room that you could otherwise have. The second part of this, make the corners flow a little bit better. Peter, I'm especially looking at you there. Definitely doing a lot better there those last couple laps from what I could see. But we don't want to be in a position where we're adding any steering past the apex cone. If we did, if we're in a situation where we have to add steering past the apex, that means we made a mistake. That means we either turned in too early or we got to the gas too soon. All right, let's turn on our right side indicators here, guys. So we should always be able to essentially unwind or start gradually straightening out our steering wheel as we're exiting the corner. And if we do that, then that will essentially push us out wide of the corner, and we're using all that space given to us. And again, the reason why that's so beneficial is because it allows us to accelerate more. If we have more steering input in the car, or too much steering input, more than we need, well, really, we're just kind of shooting ourselves in the foot, because now we can't accelerate as much with that additional steering input. Otherwise, the car might try to spin out on you. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Otherwise, everyone's looking pretty good here. I think you guys are doing a decent job of maintaining a little bit of light brake as we're turning into the corner, so that's good. And just all these fundamental things will help you out as we progress through tomorrow. Hey everybody, go ahead.